Alright, so this is the 10 minutes speaking. I think that I'm gonna do the 30 minutes speaking and the 20 minutes speaking French. Actually, I want to spend more time for making YouTube videos, and beside that, I don't have time or I have no time. I'm stuck, right? Really bad, right? Because I have, tomorrow, Saturday and Sunday free. I can do whatever I want. I can make video, I can do some stuff, a lot of stuff. I can, have a lot of practice with French and English. So let's start with this one now. Let's do it. Our brain constantly changes. Every second is changing, every experience is changing. If I put your brain out your head, if I do some brushing right now, and I hold your brain in my hand, it's not going to do anything, and I can look at it all day long. You did nothing in your body will function, no genome, no genetic activation, nothing will happen, no genes will switch on. The fact that you are alive and have done that. The only reason your brain and genes aren't doing anything is because of your thinking, feeling, and choosing. It's firing them up. It's the switch on your thinking, feeling, and choosing. Switches your genes on. We on our thinking, feeling, and choosing. And doesn't matter that I, the fact that the part that we are not have not done enough research on that through the years. Myself researching, we got focus on that because otherwise I can use my brain as a skill for everything you today, like you live in. You can make a relationship work. You got on still there when you go. They say that they that's why no, that's not. Those are effects. You can raise the same hand, experience the same challenge, the same divorce, the same problems in between. Everything could be identical, the same experience. By 20 years old, I can still view the world in different way than you. You don't live from birth. You don't live from birth totally different things. Why we see studies identical twins, where you have one that is in old age, and one take outside and one who's still farming and then going to how you perceive things makes your body work for you against you. Your mind is moving through your brain. Your brain builds its perception specifically into your brain. You're thinking, feeling, choosing moments by moments of every day. And if you ever take a scenario, I'm constantly seeing a negative. Also, if I have now more than 63 days, constantly thought in a certain way, I have built a very strong tree in my brain. A tree of thoughts are real things. They look like trees. They occupy mental real estate in metal proteins. I agree, they are 100% there totally. Right now you're growing the speed of 400 billion action, you're converting my word and your listeners into it in your brain. But now if you got habit, you are done something for years. And you thought in a way for years. Because of experience, because of environment. So there's nurture you're born with this. Wire for life design. We in nurture, environment and all the other stuff you right. And there's an I factor. The two twins going through life is something but how they think it. So each experience is now adding more and more layers to my intuitive core. So here I am, but here I am receiving. I may receive the two twins. One receives relationship in this way, one receives decision in this way. Two different macros built in the brain. And as you keep thinking in that certain way, so you strengthen. If you think about the worst growth, it doesn't. That's the person. I fully see that. You can change a person if it really easy to stand back, observe your own thinking because in social society we have designed this quantum physics is called that. You can stand back and observe your own thinking and you can solve one you see you being negative and you see that is you can keep so bright showing the people. There's always a way for someone to choose to do that. If someone has done something and they've been on it for more than 3 days, they have wired a person into the brain like pathway to like process suite that why I use this. It's a report into all computers and those computers have been very established. It takes 1 day to build a long-term memory. It takes 63 days minimum to build a heartbeat under 21 days we have been told. 63. Anything after that you're going to expert level. Also, if I have for 6 years been growing, I'm an expert growing. If doesn't mean into my end, but I'm to become. So I can become. It's hard work. I'm going to have to do a lot of my work. I'm going to do a lot of management to use emotion signals they present inside it, and to use that to make to find out what is the cause of why I'm so negative. Now, even a long-term memory can be reconceptualized. And this means I will always remember. So let's say, for example, someone sees the glass half empty, and they just believe that and just like these people just always going to face into the first every business meeting. Just always see the negative, but a person can change. They very well be they can become experts in being negative. They can actually unwind that they can get to the point where with a lot of work they can will feel the pain if people don't want to this day we actually can change that and reverse that process. The five steps. So the five steps first of all is together. Gather, that's a big word for embrace of knowledge. Embrace that you have and you gotta accept this. And this the second one is you have to reflect. It's a deep reflection is the process that is the most painful part. It's like a person will say my friends and other doctor friends. And they'll say that they're not going to tell patient to heal them, so they got to tell to the pain before going to hurt you to heal you. So that's it's a very hard process. It's hard. I'm not lying, but it's good. And it takes time. It's going to take cycles of 21 days. So the second process is deep reflection, where you basically trying to check back to not usually back to but why I'm doing this. Are you studying your strength? You look at your strength, your patterns. So the first thing is to try is to take okay this unrepressed it is an emotional warning signal, but money cause physical warning signals. So embracing emotional and physical warning signal from environment and from yourself. And you've been thinking about this, okay, so why am I always negative? Why am I always depressed? Why am I anxious? And as you go through that process of reflection, you're getting to the point where you're not really justified get to it's there even there is a little bit to the point where you find okay maybe it's in a 21 days. You see, oh, I'm anxious because I'm actually trying to be a person and trying to control everything in my environment. And it's not quite working out. Or maybe it's just because of the tumor that you've really dealt with. The third thing is we've got to actually process. So what we got to do, we're going to make our brain to do stuff right. The third process is right. When you write, you're killing out a lot of and when I say right, it's like literally thrown on the page because you see my sequence that have been developed. It's been a minute and a half to 2 minutes doing HD, so you get that for a minute and a half. You reflect for a minute and a half. You could write for minutes and a half. And then you would recheck. Now recheck is a process where you go back and look for patterns, your triggers, your what this mean. So if you think of it and become aware of something going on, I am reflecting why I'm refilling, I'm starting to get to the root. If it's only minutes and a half, you must move on. Writing that down, maybe a bunch of jumble that you write down. Reject below such jumble. Are you checking the level of water? There you go. You get as you get the level of waters, that's my little tiny task for today. And it might be simple as when I feel this anxiety coming on, I'm gonna come up the light and then I'm gonna only worry about it. To this off. But a minute and a half there's only a little bit of emotion gather which is point. It's only a little bit of every day. Everything every day. We can't solve it all much more between a day. Little things change over time. We try to fix it quick. We can get it there. It's a process you have to dig it out of your non-conscious investigative detective process that you're doing. So let's say now you start seeing, okay, I'm worrying because this negative. I'm starting to get a glimpse of, but maybe it could be this, maybe or maybe it's what can I do today as a little actively rich. And active rich is then if I see that even the second worrying the thing, I just wake up and worrying, just that at night I'm stuck and getting up so I okay then aware of that worrying. All I'm left to do today. So the way I've just walked out and I just really never stop worrying. So cool, what's my active rich? I as a worry as I hit me in the face, I'm going to say, okay, this worry, I can't with it now. I'm going to with it tonight. So now it's 6 o'clock in the morning, you will 6 o'clock tonight. As you go through the day, it is that most of what happens is you take energy away from the worry. Every thought that you build, every real living thing, it is energy, foreign energy. So if I take this worry toxic and I say, okay, keep what you important, I'm going to do with you, discipline yourself, don't think about it. And when it's time 6 o'clock tonight, come to an hour later, I think I've got energy. By the 80s, I was trained that the brain truly changed. I trained that I did work with people that had traumatic brain injury, like major. It had been written off by neurosurgeons and through deliberate and international library of brain learning group brain studying daily. Went back to university and ended up finishing school, getting high grades. And this quote is kind of have been really often unforgettable. As it happened to often to many scientists who have seen shown that when you use the mind, your brain will change. Right. So this is the end of this. So that is the end of this 10 minutes speaking for today. I think that I'm gonna move to the. I think that the French speaking. Okay, because I have time now. But I was sleep at 11. Yeah, it should be like that. I have some more time for doing this stuff. Yes, so it's a good idea, isn't it? Sure. Okay, so see you in the 20 minute speaking French.